Matrices Practice Part 1. Two classes played games in a competition. The results are shown in the table below. Represent the above data by a 2 by 3 matrix. So matrix R in this case will be 2 by 3. So I have two rows. The two rows are class A, class B, and three columns. Won, draw, loss. So the answer will be a class is awarded 5 points for each win, draw, 2 points for each draw, no points for each loss. Write down a 3 by 1 matrix P. So part 2A, 3 by 1 matrix P for the points obtained for playing the games. So 3 rows will be win, draw, and lose. So 5 points, 2 points, and 0. Compute the matrix M equals to PRP. Interpret the elements. So part 2. We will have the following. Multiplied to 5 to 0. Now the columns, the rows are A and B, class A, class B, and this column here is just the points. So this is win, draw, and lose will be multiplied to win, draw, and lose. In that case, we'll get the answer to be a 2 by 1 matrix in points. And the answer will be and interpret the elements in M. What does the elements represent? So we need to mention about the rows. The rows in this case is class A, class B, and the column is talking about the points. So in this case, it represents the total points earned by class A and class B respectively. Class A and B also played a bonus round. Winning points for B is 5 and 8 respectively. Calculate T, the matrix T, to represent M plus B. M was given to be 52, 51, what we found, and that was for class A, class B, the points. Now if you were to add 5 and 8 to it, that means we'll have for class A, class B, the total results will be 57 and 59 points. So which class has the most number of points? State which class has the most number of points. Therefore, class B has the most number of points. Question number 2. A confectionery sells small, medium, large strawberry cakes and chocolate cakes. The number of each type of cake that was sold in a particular weight is summarized in this data. Represent the data above table by a 3 by 2 matrix N. So what does this mean? So in this case, we will have quite obviously the matrix N. 3 by 2, the 3 rows will be small, medium, and large. Then the 2 columns will be chocolate and strawberry. So we will have our answers accordingly. Now part 2, the prices of each small, medium, and large cakes are given to be $8, $15, and $20 respectively. So write down a 1 by 3 matrix, meaning I will have only one row, P, so only one row, but 3 columns. Our three columns mainly represent small k, medium, and large. Therefore, the row represents the price. Okay, so this will be 8, 15, and 20. Now part 3, compute Pn and interpret the elements in Pn. Pn will be taking the price, the row is in terms of dollars, 8, 15, 20. I have small, medium, and large to be multiplied to small, medium, large for chocolate and strawberry. So 10, 12, and 24. And we will be able to get Pn to be 1 row, 2 columns, chocolate and strawberry. Okay, so what does this matrix mean? Interpret the elements in Pn. So now we can see very clearly, this means the price, or rather, I have the amount of cakes that sold multiplied to the price. That means it's the total amount of earnings from selling chocolate and strawberry respectively. So remember to key in the keywords. We have the total earnings, the columns is strawberry and chocolate, and the keyword respectively. Part B. They ask us to find W such that P and W to compute this result. So I'm going to use P and W, which is 650, 831. This is this price. This is from chocolate and strawberry. By multiplying it to 1, 1. What's the effect of this? This is taking 650 times 1 plus 831 times 1. That means I'm actually looking for a 1 by 1 matrix where it's talking about money and for the total cakes. So that means I will take 650 times 1 plus 831, which gives me 1481. Now remember to include the brackets because it's still a matrix. So they want the answer for in a matrix form. Right? Then now let's interpret what does this mean. It represents the total amount of money that you get from selling the cakes. Now we only have one number, so we don't need to use the word respectively. Have you gotten the answer? Question number 3. The table below shows the average number of buses travelling from Tampines Interchange to the 3 destinations, Aljunied, Boon Lay, and Changi during peak hours. Now their respective distances are given in terms of kilometers, right? So we have a first row over here. This is talking about buses, and then we are talking about distances. Now they want us to write down a 1 by 3 matrix and to represent the number of buses leaving the Tampines interchange. That means I only need one row. It's talking about the number of the buses, and leaving the different interchange will be for the different locations. For Aljunied, Boon and Changi. So I have 360. And this will be the answer for part 1. Part 2, it says, given that D is 19, 48, 7. Now what does this 19, 48, and 7 means? It means the distance that they have to travel. So D is equal to this, compute ND. N is the number of buses. So I will have 360, 480, 870, A, B, and C. And these buses travel a total distance of, to Aljunied, Boon Lay, and Changi, distance are respectively 19, 48, and 7. So this is talking about the distance. And in this case, we'll get a 1-by-1 matrix, which is talking about the number of buses that has traveled a total distance. So in this case, this matrix is just purely talking about the total distance traveled by all the different buses. And that gives us a total of 35970 kilometers. So interpret the elements in D. It represents the total distance in kilometers traveled by all the buses in Tampines Interchange. Have you gotten the answer? It's given that the amount of diesel used by the buses is about 80 ml per kilometer and diesel costs 190 per litre. Write down a 1-by-1 matrix C for the cost of diesel used by the buses per kilometer. So 1 kilometer, I use approximately 80 ml. But I'm going to look for the price of the diesel. It should be $1.90. 1 litre costs $1.90. So 1 litre is actually 1000 ml. How much does 80 ml cost? So 80 ml will cost 80 over 1000 times 1.90. And that gives us a price of 80 over 1000 times 1.90, 0.152 cents. So write down a matrix C. So part 3A, the matrix C for the cost will represent 0.152. And remember to put brackets because it's the matrix. Part B, find by matrix multiplication only the total cost of diesel for all the buses. Now we have previously the total distance traveled by all the buses is 35970. So doing a matrix multiplication with the price 0.152, that will give us a total of the matrix 5467.44. Since they want us to do matrix multiplication, this answer should remain in the matrix form. Then we answer to the question. Total cost of diesel will be $5,467.44. Have you gotten the answer? Question number 4. A tour agency have tour packages to New Zealand, Australia and Japan at the price 3,115, 2,695, and then $2,840 respectively. Now the table below shows the number of people who sign up for the packages from January to June and July to December. Alright, so we have period 1 and period 2. Now the information is given by the matrix Q, and they ask us to write down a matrix P for the prices of the tour packages. So part 1, the prices of the tour packages in a 1/3 matrix. Since it's talking about price, so this will be price, and the 3 different locations will be New Zealand, Australia, and Japan. So that will be 3,115, 2,695, and 2,840. Now they ask us to compute the matrix P times Q, price times the quantity in this case. So part 2, C will be the price of 3,115, 2,695, 2,840 for New Zealand, Australia, and Japan, to be multiplied to the matrix New Zealand, Australia, and Japan for period 1 and period 2, which is 13, 22, 30, 19, 14, and 30. So if you take the price times the different quantity, we will end up with the total earnings. So taking the rows over here, row will be earnings, and the column will be for period 1 and period 2 respectively. So this will have period 1 and period 2. Let's see how much did they earn. And this will be the answer. Now interpret the elements in C. So the elements in C down here, we know that this is talking about total amount of money earned because it's the price times the quantity. So it's actually the total earnings earned by the tour packages, by the tour agency in period 1 and period 2 respectively. The total earnings by the tour agency in period 1 and 2 respectively. So we have total earnings, period 1, period 2, and respectively. Have you gotten the answer? In the next part of the question, they ask us to find that given that R is the matrix 1, 1, calculate D equals to C times R. So I know from my previous part, my answer, C is actually this matrix over here. Okay, now I'm going to take C times R. What happens? So when I take C times R, you'll be taking this total cost in period 1 and multiply it to 1 and 1. So I'm taking actually period 1 times 1 plus period 2 times 1. So actually it's asking for the total amount of earnings in the whole year. And let us find what's this answer. So describe what is represented by the elements of D. So it represents the total earnings of the tour agency in the whole year. Because period 1 is from January to June and period 2 is from July to December. So this is what it represents. Have you gotten the answer? We'll continue with the next few parts of the questions in a different video. Now take a quick break and get ready for the next part of the lesson. See ya!